Hello, thank you for watching this video. I am Miss Shirley. Thank you so much for subscribing. For those who subscribed, if you haven't, please go on and subscribe. We still talk about the book Fathers of Nations by Paul Vita. You see, in this case, Paul Vita uses fathers to talk about the presidents of the African nations. Fathers, presidents. Now, Paul Vita uses sarcasm to bring about different themes in this book, Fathers of Nations. One particular theme that comes about is the theme of rejection. The theme of rejection comes up in different parts of the book. If you haven't read this book, I'd really ask you to go read it because it is interesting. And if you are a politics person, you'll really love it. Especially if you're into the African politics. Now, like I said, the theme of rejection comes about in different parts of the book. First of all, Fathers of Nations. You should really reject this title because the African presidents are not necessarily fathers to the African presidents. A father is someone who is supposed to take care of the family, give direction to the family. When we say give direction, we say give close direction. But when you compare a father to an African leader, there's a complete difference. These people are going on different paths. Yeah. African leaders are ignorant. First of all, they are ignorant. A father should not be an ignorant person. A child has a particular need. They'll go on and fulfill their need. Yeah. But what do African leaders do? Yeah. A father is someone who's supposed to have direction. But what do African leaders do? They lack direction. They actually don't know what they are doing. Everything they do leads to a disaster, especially as seen in this book, Fathers of Nations by Paul B. Vita. Now, the theme of rejection is brought about in this book. We have rejection happening in different parts of the book. First of all, to start with, we have rejection by the African presidents. You see, they reject the needs of the African people, the African countries. They really reject their needs, but are selfish about their basic needs. They're taking place in corruption, impunity, and all that. What is the president supposed to do? They're supposed to look after their countries. But in this case, African leaders are looking at themselves, their children, and their families. Some of them are not even looking at their families, but just themselves. So that is the first example of rejection. African leaders rejecting the needs of the African people. The fathers of nations rejecting the needs of the children of those nations. So that is the first example of rejection in the book, Fathers of Nations. Secondly, we want to look at the five main characters of this particular book. We have Professor Kimani from Kenya. We have Comrade Melusi from Zimbabwe. We have Pastor Chiamaka from Nigeria. We have Engineer Tahir from Tunisia. Then we have Dr. Abdullah Labi from Nigeria, and a part of him is American. He married an American wife, therefore, yeah. Okay, now to start with, let's start with Engineer Tahir from the northern part of Africa. This person's goals were rejected by the presidents of his particular country. You see, this is an engineer who is good at developing items of war or items of actually protecting their country. But in this case, because of fear or maybe ignorance, the president closes down that particular country in which Engineer Tahir works in. Therefore, this becomes some kind of rejection for him. He feels rejected. And before that, you see, when you read the book, you'll find that he is rejected by someone he tries to approach. You see, he has an eye for that particular girl in that company, but the girl rejects him. If you read the book, you'll get a wide notion of that part of the book. So rejection also comes in different parts of Tahir's life. Next, we can go on to Professor Kimani, who is a Kenyan professor working at the University of Nairobi. So this is a whole professor who lives in poverty. Yeah, it is safe to say poverty because this person can't afford. You see, you look at his state from how it is described in the book, you might say that he is in a state of poverty. So it is safe to say that his government rejects him, being someone who is learned. You see, a learned person is supposed to be respected in the society, held in high regards. But in this case, the government does not hold in high regard people who are learned, such as Professor Kimani from Kenya. Lives in poverty, therefore means he's not getting enough salary. You see, a country is supposed to motivate its people to learn by showing that the people who are learned are actually getting benefits from the same. But in this case, you look at poor Professor Kimani, you'll tell yourself there's no need for going to school. So it is safe to say that Professor Kimani is rejected by his government. Later on, Professor Kimani loses a daughter through a road accident, and also after that loses a wife to a politician. So him losing a wife can also be a cause of rejection. You see, the wife, Asia, leaves him for a politician who is better off. Yeah, a politician who has 4 wives, but Asia still goes to him, probably because of the cars, the good house, the money and all, because he is a politician. So we have a bit of rejection in Engineer Tahir's, in Professor Kimani's life. Wife rejecting him and the government rejecting his needs. Just the case as the government rejecting its people's needs or her people's needs. Next, we can go on to Pastor Chiamaka. Rejection from his passion. This person is a pastor, but you see, there is a natural force that comes against his work. He loves preaching and all. From the experience of his life, he loves preaching. Therefore, he criticizes the government, which led to him being banned from preaching. So it is safe to say that he was rejected from, the government rejected him by doing what they did to him. So there's also a theme of rejection brought in Pastor Chiamaka's experience. Next, we have rejection portrayed in Comrade Melusi's life. He is a person who fought for independence, for his country's independence. But in this case, he's not respected, he's not given what he's supposed to be given. Like, he's supposed to be a respected member of the society. But in this case, because he is from a different tribe from the one the president is in, ends up him being rejected, therefore killing his people, killing his wife. So we also have a theme of rejection brought about in that part of the book. Next, we can go on to the life of Dr. Abiola Falabi. You see, this is an accomplished person who is even an accomplished writer. Writes a book about failure of states. But in this case, you go into his story. This is someone who had an American wife. Yeah, but you see, in this case, the American wife doesn't want a child. But in this case, being an African man, he definitely wants a child. The family definitely wants a child. So they one day come from America into Africa. In the house, there is a Falabi's cousin and a little lady presumed to be brought in for the purpose of giving him a child. In this case, Pamela, who is the American wife, doesn't like that part of the story. He therefore files for divorce. In this case, we can say that there's a bit of rejection by Pamela rejecting Dr. Abiola Folabi. And there's also rejection where Dr. Abiola Folabi rejects the African ways. As an African, having children is holds some kinds of regards. You need an heir to your property and so on. The reasons we give. So you see, Dr. Abiola Folabi is a learned person and therefore might be rejecting the African ways. Getting a child as an African man, your family will need a child. But in this case, because the wife doesn't want a kid, leads him to reject the African ways. So we can say that that part also brings in the theme of rejection. Later in the book, we can still go back to the summit, talk about the two development strategies, path alpha and way omega. In that case, it is safe to say that later on, way omega was rejected in place of way omega was rejected and path alpha was chosen. So in that case, you can also say there's a theme of rejection in that part of the book. So in conclusion, we can say that rejection is also a theme brought out in the book Fathers of Nations. And if you haven't read the book, please go on and read it. It is an interesting book. You will love it. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.